recognize the ranking member, Ms. Jayapal, for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I welcome all of our witnesses. Mr. Chairman, it feels like we've been stuck in a time loop since this Congress began. House Republicans struggle and often fail to do the most basic aspects of governing, while this committee continues to hold the same hearings on the border. And today seems no different. Today's hearing appears to be an attempt by my Republican colleagues to justify their inability and lack of desire to act in a bipartisan fashion to address the border and fix the broken immigration system. And I think it's important for us to take a step back and remember how we got here. Earlier in this Congress, Republicans passed their cruel, inhumane, and unworkable border bill, H.R. 2, through the House. After its passage, all we heard from our colleagues was that H.R. 2 could secure the border. That bill has since failed twice to pass the United States Senate, rejected on a bipartisan basis. Then, after insisting for months that the only way to address the border was through harsh border security legislation, former President Trump instructed Republicans to dismiss out of hand a bipartisan border bill that Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called the strongest and toughest border bill in 30 years, and that was written by the second most conservative senator in the United States Senate, James Lankford. Immediately, Speaker Johnson and others began to claim the president doesn't need this legislation. President Biden can secure the border through executive actions. There's no bills needed at all. Let us be clear. The American people are not stupid. They know that Republicans do not actually want to solve or address the situation at the border because Republicans have said that. Donald Trump has said that over and over again. Let's not do anything to solve the problem at the border. Let's keep it out there as an issue for the election. As we have heard from multiple Republicans, including on this subcommittee, they would rather weaponize the border as a political issue for this election year. Today's hearing will not bring my colleagues the answers that they are looking for, because the reality is no, the president cannot, quote, close the border. Speaker Johnson and others have said that all president needs to do is to use Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act to, quote, shut down the border to all border crossers. However, what they seem to forget is that President Trump tried to do exactly that in November of 2018, and he was stopped by our courts. Even the Supreme Court refused to intervene and lift the lower court injunction. But whether the president can technically close the border or not actually misses the point. The reality is, attempts to use cruel and inhumane deterrence and enforcement alone, which is what President Trump and other administrations have tried to do, simply does not work. Let's think back. When President Trump implemented the Remain in Mexico program early in 2019, did people stop crossing the border? No. No, they did not. In fact, that summer, we saw some of the highest levels of immigration of the entire Trump administration. And we saw the same thing with the use of Title 42. When President Trump used Title 42 to turn back all border crossers, encounters between the ports of entry shot up, not down. They went up. Remember, Title 42 was also a boon to cartels. Knowing that they would be turned away under Title 42, migrants were forced to rely on cartels to try to get smuggled into the country between points of entry. Cartels actually offered packages for migrants to make multiple attempts at crossing. One migrant was apprehended over 40 times, just one alone. Human smugglers told reporters that Title 42 saved them money, with some going as far as to say, quote, "It's great for us." This is the cartels we're talking about. Let me be very clear that the vast majority of these people that are coming across the border, migrants, do not want to engage with cartels. They want to follow a legal process. And they do follow a legal process when we provide workable ways for people to seek entry and refuge. As I have said all Congress, the best way to help secure the border is to expand lawful pathways and adequately fund the immigration system. We have not updated the legal immigration system in this country in over 30 years. The more broken the legal immigration system is, the more people will try to come to the border as the only means of entry. We should be having hearings on this committee about how we can expand lawful immigration to the United States and how it benefits the United States. Just last month, the Congressional Budget Office said that because of the recent increase in immigration, over the next 10 years, the economy is going to grow by $7 trillion, and revenues will increase by $1 trillion. This was further backed up by another new government study by the Department of Health and Human Services, which shows that refugees and asylees have a net positive impact of $124 billion over 10 years. I ask for unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, to enter those studies into the record.
Without objection.
Unfortunately, the Republicans have time and time again blocked additional funding and seem to oppose more legal immigration. They are not interested in real solutions, and that is extremely unfortunate for the American people, for all of us across the country who want to get to a real solution. I look forward to hearing from all of our witnesses and the perspectives they bring on this issue, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you very much.